Friends, I just wanted to go over a couple of quick grading things. I want to be a little bit more specific so that you all understand what's going on with your grades in Infant and Campus. So you're going to notice a couple of different things have changed. You will see that you have 3 types of grades that are going to be coming up as we are working in your notebook. So the first grade that you're going to see is under Key Ideas and Details. You are going to see a Craft and Structure grade, and then you're going to see a Writing grade. So I'm going to go through those with you right now. When you look at Key Ideas and Details, each time we do a note-taking guide in your digital notebook, you are going to get a grade under Key Ideas and Details. So let's say, for example, we're looking at this one right here, okay? Student is able to support ideas with specific textual evidence. In order to earn the grade of a 4, which is advanced, you need to be able to support all of your ideas with very specific examples from the text. And when I say specific examples, right, or textual evidence, I don't mean your inferences or your ideas about the text. You shouldn't be supporting ideas with ideas. You should be supporting with specific textual evidence. So, for example, if I look at my note-taking guide for fish cheeks, and I zoom in so that I can see it better. If I scroll up to the top, if I scroll up to the top where it says point of view, the story is in first person perspective or point of view because the author uses I, me, and my pronouns. Let's say I have that as my first sentence, my pronouns. For example, comma, right? Amy says, I was so embarrassed. Then I put the paragraph number, I don't know if that's right, and a period. We talked about this. We talked about citing. So you have your evidence right here. Here's your answer to the question, right? Just like we talked about with ACE, your answer, your citation, and then your evidence. For example, Amy says, I was so embarrassed. This quote shows the text is in first person. Look at that. Awesome. I have answered the question, I have cited evidence, and I have explained my answer. So if I go back here, student is able to support ideas with specific textual evidence. If I want to earn a 4, I have to do that for every single response. Every single statement I make about the text has to have a specific textual example. Let's say now that I'm looking at craft and structure. Student accurately interprets words and phrases as they are used in the text and is able to analyze how specific word choices shape the meaning or overall tone of the text. Let's say that I want to think about how Amy feels about being unique. Let's say I know that she is embarrassed by her father belching and the minister belching because she gets really red in the face and she like squeezes down into her chair and she is like, oh my gosh, and then she's silent for the rest of the night. I could use the example of her being silent for the rest of the night. I could use that exact quote and say that she doesn't specifically say, right, she's so embarrassed, she's quiet for the rest of the night. But the language in the text shows us how embarrassed she is about being different. And we can infer that she's so embarrassed she won't speak for the rest of the night. Moving on. Writing is something we're going to be grading a lot. So once we get down to the end of the term, down here where it says student uses appropriate transitions, we're going to be looking for transition words like first, next, last, all those things that we're going to talk further about in class. The most important thing for you to think about right now are these 2 columns or these 2 rows in the 4 column. Student addresses the prompt by developing a strong claim. So that's your idea, that's your answer. And you are creating that claim based on your understanding of the text. So if my claim was that Amy is embarrassed of her Chinese heritage, I need to support that and think about that based on the text. I can't just say, Amy loved being Chinese, it was so fun, and just say that without any sort of information from the text, without any sort of really strong interpretation from the text. Student supports claim with clear reasons and relevant evidence from the text. You could have a really awesome statement like, Amy loves being Chinese by the end of the story, which is true. She is more proud of who she is by the end of the story. But then I might not use relevant evidence. I might not use evidence that's related to what I'm talking about. And if I do that, my grade here is probably going to drop. Okay, so when we're talking about going through and revising and editing your work, and we're talking about adding strong language, adding sentences, all of that stuff that we talked about when we talked about revising and you had a revising day on a Wednesday for class, that's what we're talking about. So a lot of you, the first pieces that you've submitted are a 1 or a 2 for writing, craft, and structure and key ideas. Through revising and editing, you will be able to take those grades from 1s and 2s and make them 3s and 4s. We are looking for very strong writing. 3 means that you are right where you're supposed to be. You're right at grade level. So if you're getting 3s, or if you're making corrections to 1s and 2s and you're earning 3s, that's really good. That means that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. 4 just means you're going the extra mile. You could teach somebody else how to do it. You've got it down. Okay? One more thing I want to show you quick before I let you all go is this SL English Language Arts rubric. Basically what this is a weekly participation grade that we are starting week 4 and 5 to talk with students about. And the main goal of this grade is for those of you who maybe struggle a little bit with writing, this is another way for us to look at your ability to collaborate with your classmates and to have discussions with your classmates about grade level texts and materials. We also want to make sure that you're able to build on your ideas and to use textual evidence in a way that follows our expectations in class. So having appropriate discussions when we're going through those note-taking guides as a class. Are you actively participating? Are you listening? Are you following along? Are you building on other people's ideas? All of that kind of stuff. Are you muted with your camera off for the whole class? Do I have to pull sticks, right, to get you to share some ideas in class? If that is the case, you're probably going to be closer to a 1 or a 2. Those of you who are receiving 3s and 4s, it's because you're actively participating and you're effectively participating, meaning that you're not just repeating what somebody else says, but you're bringing new ideas and new thoughts to the table that you're coming up with by using the text. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, or issues, email me, Miss Kelty, at akelty@madison.k12.wi.us, and I will answer any of your questions.